I'm thankful that you did me wrong, cause now I got it right, I promise you gon' miss me gone. I done seen it all like the first picture phone. They wishing on my downfall with the wishing bone.
And just as a fan, I just gotta throw it out there. With you and Young Thug, will we see one song reunion maybe?
Bro, I don't know, bro.
If you had one thing to say to Slime, like as your boy, your brother, how y'all were locked in, what you'll tell him on the phone if y'all was
right now?
Yeah.
Shit, bro, let's just pull up on me, let's just chop it up. You feel me? Like before we even get to songs and
exactly.
I want to just see what bro mind mentally like, because like to this day we still ain't just had no conversation. It was more like people around us talking opposed to me and bro just sitting down having that conversation.
Now unless you on Cloud 10, under a rap, how you heard the motherfucking word? What's good, y'all? It's yours truly. Once again, HeartBreak Ace. If you're familiar with my content, why not? Hit that like, comment, subscribe so the algorithm gets breaking content every time I upload. We ain't even jacking the algorithm today. Pause, man. He can hate, do whatever he want to do. But shout out to my man, my boy, man. Rest in peace. Early, man. Rest in heaven. Rich Homie Quan. You know what I mean? Tell the algorithm, he gonna have to fall back. I could beat him up for real, man. I did a lot of shit just to live this here lifestyle. Yeah, man. Topic of discussion, you already know why we here, man. You see the title, and you know, it just, after watching everything transpire with the news, of course, Rich Homie Quan passing away in the way they saying he passed away, it's just a lot of distasteful things I've been seeing online, and unfortunately for people like me, we have to make content whether it's good news or bad news. That's what we do. I try to do it respectfully, and I try to not like have so much content with this situation. And I decided, I mean, I'm gonna make content just like everybody else is gonna make content about Rich Homie Quan right now. So I kind of decided, instead of just making all this just negative news just spread across the universe about Rich Homie Quan, how he passed and all of that, the tension with him and Thug, all of that, I decided to dive deeper in this situation, pause, and I want to take you all back to the beginning, especially for y'all Gen Z kids that might not know who Rich Homie Quan is, because you know, like 2 months ago, he recently just got into it with a North Carolina native that called him washed and said he fell off. And it's like, y'all gotta put some respect on Rich Homie Quan's name. And I said this in a video that I made about that situation before this situation. So it ain't nothing that I'm saying like bandwagon just trying to be fucking with Rich Homie Quan because he passed away. Cause that ain't the case with me. I grew up in the era when Rich Homie Quan was out. When still going in. I grew up in that era when he was the hottest thing smoking. Facts. Before Young Thug came out with Stoner. Rich Homie Quan was that nigga. I grew up in that time. So a lot of y'all probably don't know, man, but y'all gotta put some respect on his name, because that sound that a lot of people using right now, that was basically the sound that he came out with. That's how he talked. As you see when he talked, that's his real voice. That was the style that era with him, speaker knockers and people like that came out with that style. The same style that people using today, as well as the style that Young Thug used too. So, without further ado, I want to take y'all back to the early stages of Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug, and how we get to the point that we are right now. I don't think they're up on the block this time. And out of respect for my boy Rich Homie Quan, he shouldn't be. But you know, we're gonna go around the block and make sure he ain't out there lurking. So if you're familiar with my channel, then you know what this is. Let's spin the block. Let's spin the block. And take y'all back. It was the 2010 era. After being blessed with the funkadelic, jazzy street sounds of Outkast or Goody Mob, the dance crunk era, or child's play like Jermaine Dupri, Lil Jon, and Bone Crusher, from the beginning stages of trap music like T.I., Gucci, Jeezy, just to name a few. Not only Atlanta, but the South, in the words of the great Andre 3K, the South still has something to say. Before Young Thug told the whole world he was a stoner, before ever hearing famous ad-libs like Mama from the Migos, similar to the sound of the late Speaker Knockers, or more gritty, trap style sound emerged. It was 2013, August 22nd. The next front runner that had something to say made us and himself feel some type of way. Who is Rich Homie Quan? Now, the crazy part about Rich Homie Quan is, even though he came in the game in the beginning on his own, you can't mention his background story without mentioning his old friend, Young Thug. I mean, they both come from poverty in the slums of Atlanta. One was born a year before the other. Born October 4th, 1990. DeQuantes Devontae Lamar, a.k.a. Rich Homie Quan. And of course, a year later was August 16th, 1991. Jeffrey Williams, a.k.a. Young Thug. Now, in their youth as kids, for the lack of a better word, Young Thug was already savage. While they were only in 6th grade, Thug got into an altercation with the teacher and ended up kicked out of school after breaking the teacher's arm. Literally broke the teacher's arm. But with the high street rep and credibility, also ties with one of the blood gangs in the neighborhood, Young Thug joined Sex Money Murder, fully embracing the culture. In the process, he dropped 3 mixtapes, as early as 2010, which got the attention of Gucci Mane, who immediately signed Young Thug to the old 1017 label. But we'll get back to that. Now you see, Quan was a little bit different than Thug. He wasn't an all goody two-shoes, but he wasn't really a troublemaker. He had dreams of becoming a pro baseball player. So in school, he joined a team. He also joined creative writing because he had a love for literature. Hence how he ended up rapping. Quan was so good in baseball, he got a 4-year scholarship. But because of the expenses of the scholarship, a 4-year scholarship and coming out of poverty like he did in the slums of Atlanta, instead of going to the streets at first, Rich Homie Quan decided to get a job working at the airport. Now, for whatever reason, Quan was fired from his job, losing all aspirations as being a pro baseball player. Just like his fellow friend Young Thug, Quan was consumed by the streets. He committed so many burglaries till eventually he got 15 months incarcerated. After his release, Quan decided to take rap a little bit more serious, being influenced by the Dirty South legends Jeezy, Gucci, T.I., Boosie, Lil Wayne, Outkast, Goody Mob, and even the early Drake. Quan made his own sound, and the rest was history. And the rest was indeed history. If you made it to this point, I'm pretty sure you already know how the story goes. My nigga been hustling, trying to make him something, ain't no telling he'll do it for the paper. My boy Rich Homie Quan was like a breath of fresh air. A new sound. Not really just mumble rap, he had swag to it. And you can hear the pain in his voice, the conviction, the swag in the video. He was very believable. He wasn't just speaking on the cars, all the jewelry, flashy stuff like we was accustomed to, like New York rap. He was more relatable. He had a message. He wanted us to listen, and we definitely did. And not only us, he was getting a buzz in the city of Atlanta. T.I.G. heard him, which is Think It's a Game, who's also the label that managed YFN Lucci, which tie in later to this story, of course, because you know he was a known op to Young Thug. Think It's a Game, one of the owners that partly owned Think It's a Game was the one and only Blood Gang leader, Donovan Nut Thomas. The same one Young Thug is fighting this YSL Rico case as we speak, from the time of me making this video. You see the correlation? He wanted to be on, and I understand it. He finally made his way in. And because Donovan Nut Thomas was a well-known, respected gang leader, he went right under his wing. He, as in Rich Homie Quan. And when he got under his wing, it got crazy and crazy after that. He went on a rampage when it comes to this music and made a mixtape. I promise I will never stop going in. And when I tell you it was a non-skip mixtape that should have been an album, it's an understatement. With the different sounds, the lazy but crunk at the same time persona that he gave with it. One of the first pioneers when it comes to this mumble rap that's lyrical, saying something and being melodic. Rich Homie Quan is one of the pioneers of that. This is before Young Thug. But if we go on the other side of the tracks, like I mentioned earlier, Young Thug was dropping songs and mixtapes. Like 3 mixtapes. He got signed to Gucci. Old 1017. But if you remember the old 1017, Gucci was in a lot of illegal troubles. He stayed in trouble. He even had murder charges. One was self-defense, but he still was locked up all the time. And in the midst of one of his stints of getting locked up, he had to let go his artist. One of those artists was Young Thug. Wasn't no love lost with Young Thug. Gucci did the right thing. He put him under the wings of some of his niggas he knew, which was Coach K and P. The same label that signed Amigos and a lot of others. And in the midst of that, Birdman got his interest in Young Thug. And of course, if you didn't know, Young Thug went straight to Birdman because his idol has always been Lil Wayne. Birdman took a liking in Young Thug. A little bit more than Lil Wayne. Some would say. That's the reason why Lil Wayne, in a small little few years, they didn't see eye to eye. And some say Young Thug was a part of that. But Young Thug was simply just a fan of Lil Wayne. He wanted to be like Wayne. But Wayne didn't embrace him when they first started. However, Birdman was starting this Rich Gang label. And one of his first artists he had was Young Thug. Of course, I said Rich Homie Quan he had a buzz in the city as well. Birdman, with a good ear, I mean, he signed Lil Wayne, Nicki, and Drake. So, I mean, come on. The Hot Boys, he always had a good ear. He heard Rich Homie Quan, and he wanted him to get on the song with Young Thug, which is, of course, Lifestyle. I see Birdman, heavily influenced by Mike 10, was also tied to the Bloods and considered an OG for a very long time. He took a liking to Rich Homie Quan and his label owner, Donovan Nut Thomas. So you can imagine without hesitation, Quan agreed to do the verse for Lifestyle. And that verse turned into Rich Gang, the squad, owned by Birdman himself. Immediately he started dropping their first mixtape, the Tour Part 1, with most of the hits, like Milk Marie, get the F out my face, lifestyle. Basically being the two childhood friends, the dynamic duo, rap splash brother of the modern day hip hop. None other than Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug. I mean, it was like they were Barry Bonds and King Griff mixed together. It was hit after hit, like they really couldn't miss. Well, at least until a year later, with no explanation at all at first. Rich Homie Quan hit the airwaves doing interviews on radio stations about how he was leaving Rich Gang.
Career. But I have been focusing more on myself. I've stepped away from the Rich Gang a little bit just to get back to Quan. You know, people want Quan back.
But Thug, he wasn't feeling that. So at the show, he threw some shots at Quan.
You saw the fucking video of me. This stupid lame man nigga trail. That bitch fucking Quan.
Now, of course, Rich Homie saw this. But the surprise was to everybody that he kept it kosher in his response.
What happened with Young Thug? What's the story there? You guys are friends and then the whole thing fell apart there? Where are you guys now on this?
Me and Young Thug, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know, like we can't, yeah, you know, he always my brother for life, man. You know, no hard feelings, you know what I mean? We both went to middle school together. We live in Atlanta. Right now, just a lot going on. You know, I'm still the same Quan, man. I've never said anything to trash Thug or banish his name, because that's not where I come from. I'm all about giving, you know, blessings. So, you know what I mean? I wish Thug the best of success, man.
Well, see, that's very positive, and I guess I'm going to be the instigator here, but when you read that he says, I mean, you guys were brothers, and he calls you Homie Quan, your reaction when that gets back to you is what?
Look, my first reaction was, my brother called me Homie Quan, and I took my glasses off. Like, to be honest, not to get in my feelings, it hurt. You know what I'm saying? Not hurting as in, oh, I'm gonna cry like, dog, bro. I would never disrespect you, point blank, period. Especially when we have each other's number. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's certain stuff you do and certain stuff you don't do, and it's a certain way you do things, and that's not one of the ways I would have done.
Let me ask you this: what you think about the Bar to Six?
I haven't listened to it.
You haven't listened to it yet? I haven't either, but you know.
Pretty sure Thug went hard though.
What is my thought?
I'm pretty sure it went hard though.
Yeah, I bet it's hard. Of course. So that's what's up. When's the last time you talked to Thug?
I ain't talked to him in a minute. Still my brother though. You know.
Still your boy, of course, you know. No love lost like that, right?
You know, you doing his solo career, I'm doing mine. Wishing the best. See each other at the top.
But December of that same year, my boy Quan got faded and said some wild shit about Thug on stage.
Get your ass back, bro. Like, girl, get your ass the fuck
Now, of course, King Slime responded in a series of tweets, telling Quan his career almost over, then saying he ain't really mean that. Then he did an interview with Sway, doubling back on what he said.
What was your take? What went wrong in your opinion with that whole movement?
With Bird and Wayne or me and Quan?
You and Quan?
Nothing. Not just the fact that he said he wanted to chill for a minute and do his own music. Yeah, I did an interview and he was like, I want to relax from Rich Gang and by yourself, you know. I think the people want to hear me. So I was like, fine. So we just stopped working like that. We still got music, but we don't really work like that.
Y'all don't work that. So is it on and off in terms of y'all friendship, or is it just off?
Nah, it's a pause. We ain't really saying eye to eye, but we don't really have no problem with each other.
Okay,
you know, at least on my end. I don't know about his end. You might have some.
All right, y'all, we back. I know we spent the block a few times, but now we up to speed. This when the story get a little deeper. This when things start to correlate. Some would say, even though Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan stayed professional, when asked about each other, they big each other up. They had some real tension. But we don't think that the tension lies between Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug initially. I mean, friends disagree a lot, but they still be friends the next day. Friends also fight and be friends the next day. So what you think would be different with Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan? It was the higher ups, the power that be. Birdman and Donovan Nut Thomas. Rumor has it, Birdman really tried to strong arm his way into signing Rich Homie Quan. When they did the Rich Gang thing, he was not officially signed to Birdman. Donovan Nut Thomas, for whatever reason, felt like he was trying to put Rich Homie Quan in the 360 deal or slave him. That's what he tried to tell Rich Homie Quan. And that came out of Rich Homie Quan's mouth. And he didn't want him to do the deal. And made him back out of it. He stayed with TIG. And that brought tension between him and Thug. Because him and Thug was like this. Thug introduced him to Birdman. And it kind of made Thug look uncredible a little bit. Then you gotta remember Donovan Nut Thomas and Birdman are two high-ranked bloods. So you know they was trying to see who had the biggest balls. Pause. Who was the biggest stepper. Obviously Nut wasn't going for that. And Birdman, we know his story. And that's how things escalated. Then they separated from each other. Then the tension kept growing and growing. And this is around the time, shortly after, Donovan Nut Thomas got murdered. It's a lot of pieces together. It seemed like a coincidence, because that's when you have to add Little Woody to this situation. After admitting to shooting up Rich Homie Quan's dad's shop, he said it didn't have anything to do with Thug. He said he was just taking up for his brother Threat. Threat got into it with Rich Homie Quan peoples and Nut peoples. So they went and shot up his dad's place to show him they ain't playing. A few months later, in that same area, Donovan Nut Thomas was killed. And everybody know he had a beef with Woody and Threat. So it keep getting deeper and keep getting deeper. But the play of events made it seem like Young Thug got angry and killed Donovan Nut Thomas because he couldn't get Rich Homie Quan signed to him, signed to Birdman. Do you really think that's what happened? They fell out for real, that's true. But you can tell they were really friends. It's just unfortunate things went that way against the two head guys. So you know they had to follow the team. And that's when things really went downhill for Rich Homie Quan. Well, I'll let you hear it from his mouth himself. Let's spin the block again.
You feel me? I came in Rich Homie Quan, and that's the way I wanted to leave, man. Despite how much good music we did, all that, you know what I mean? I still want to just always do my own thing, you know what I mean? I just didn't never want nobody to feel as if, like, to say, yo, well, you know, I did this for Quan, and, you know, Quan the reason, nah. I want to always just be like, yeah, man, I did this because I wanted to do it. You feel me? Nah, but even, like, go back to the Rich Gang, that was a fun time in my life. Like, we made some great music, you know what I mean? Even now, like, man, I don't got no bad blood with Thug, no Bird, you know what I mean? That we're all in a great place in our life, man, and that's what it's about, you know what I mean? At any time, man, we can press play on and do more music, but we were never a group, though.
Quan's career kind of took a hiatus after he ran into some legal issues with his former label, TIG. This legal battle kept him from dropping music for nearly 2 years. This led to a lot of people forgetting about Quan, while Thug continued to drop and gain popularity. But when he settled the lawsuit and came back in 2017 with Back to the Basics, it did pretty well. This year was looking pretty good for Thug and Quan fans. Quan even hinted towards a reunion.
So Rich Gang was like super popular. Everybody thought you and Young Thug was a great musical duo. But like publicly, it seems you and him have like a weird relationship where sometimes it seems like you're hella cool and then sometimes it seems like y'all ain't with each other. Like, what is your relationship as far as, do you, like,
it's
what
just,
is it? Explain
I'm saying,
that.
like, we don't got no bad blood, but we don't talk. We don't talk every day like you'll think we talk every day, but we don't got no bad blood. So I just leave it, you know, it is what it is. You feel me? I wish him the best, you know what I mean?
But sadly, it never happened. And just when things started to go into the right direction for Quan, he faced one of his biggest feats in his career. On May 27, 2017, he was pulled over at a police checkpoint and arrested in Georgia on major weapons and drug charges that had him facing 30 years in prison. He eventually beat the charges, but he just wasn't the same. Quan only released 6 projects projects between the years of 2017 and 2022. Now this may not seem crazy, but if you really look back at his entire discography, he released over 20 projects just within the short 2 years of 2013 and 2015. So it was apparent that he slowed down drastically. He came out later and said that after the whole TIG legal situation and not dropping any music for so long, he fell into a depression and started drugs.
But now me and Fly ain't talking because of the litigation, man. Fly not talking at all. You know what I'm saying? I can't drop no music. My show money down. Man, I got a dark cloud over my head. I probably was the lowest I was in my life, because you got to think, man, I went from here to here fast.
Was it drugs involved?
Oh, hell yeah, man. I was on Molly every day.
Oof.
But listen, geeked up, fight down. Listen, I'm talking, bro, I felt like I couldn't do a show or a song without being on Molly.
When did that start?
Before some type of way. We was doing so many shows, I couldn't stay up. So I knew some people like, bro, I got something to keep you up. That motherfucker kept me up.
But Thug, on the other hand, was striving in the industry over these few years. He stayed under Birdman's wings for a while and released great projects like Slime Season 1, 2, and 3. But in late 2016, he announced he was starting his own record label called YSL. And the following year was even bigger for Thug. He did many collabs with Drake, Future, and even Ariana Grande. But his biggest hit of the year was with Camila Cabello on Havana, which amassed over 3 billion views and landed him his first #1 on the Billboard charts.
Now, unfortunately, like most rappers or most young black men growing up in poverty or living the limelight and then getting knocked all the way down to the bottom, egos get involved. They start feeling low. And most of us, sad to say, the best way we can cope with it is a drug. Rich Homie Quan wasn't no different. And I can understand his gripes. I can understand his vices. I get it. Especially when the people that was in your corner ain't in your corner anymore. You feel like you're alone. Quan was always Quan. Quan still can make great music, just as well as Young Thug. But because of the tension with Birdman and Nut, he was unable to make music. And ironically, he didn't sign a Rich Gang, but he ended up getting in a situation with the label that he was signed to with Donovan Nut Thomas, which is TIG. Think it's a game. With the same label that YFN and Lucci is signed to. So that's very ironic. Make you think he should have just went with his best friend, with one of his friends, close friends, which is Young Thug, and signed the Rich Gang with Birdman. Because he literally, shortly after that, as you see, he got in an altercation with his label and he couldn't really drop music for 2 years. He went from popping on some Lil Wayne mixtape shit to not hearing Quan at all. So he came back with the bassist and all of that. But his buzz still wasn't popping because he was independent trying to find his way back up. Thug just kept winning. It wasn't no losing on Thug. Especially when he came out with the album, his first album, which is So Much Fun, after dropping countless mixtapes that should have been and could have been albums, like the Barter 6 alone. He came out with his first album, So Much Fun. While Thug was winning, Quan was losing. And the best way he can cope with it was the drugs. He didn't have nobody in his corner to tell him not to do it. So that's exactly what he did. And peer pressure's a motherfucker. Especially when you're stressing, you went from here to there. And it wasn't because of your talent. Except because two of the big dogs, pause, didn't agree with each other initially. And it put a burden in your friendship with your friend, which is Young Thug. Now, recently before he passed away, last year, Rich Homie Quan came back out. He was making a buzz for himself. And it was shortly after Young Thug got locked up for this YSL RICO case. Because it's alleged that he called the shot on getting Rich Homie Quan's old label owner, which is Donovan Nut Thomas, killed. By which the trial is looking like YSL Woody did it. Because of his tension that he already had with Nut. Trying to defend his brother Threat, which also was killed recently. And that's when he started to come back and make a name for himself. When Young Thug got locked up for this YSL Rico case that he's still fighting for now from the time of me making this video. It was looking promising. And he even kept it respectful about the times when people would ask him about the situation. He used to say, free Young Thug, free YFN Lucci. Both sides. He always kept it that Young Thug was his brother. I truly believe he meant that. I don't think it was a gimmick for the cameras. I don't think he was scared. I think he truly meant that. I really do. But obvious, he didn't come back out till Thug got locked up. So we can kind of see, it looked like he was blackballed. Let's be real. Let's be real. And he was popping. He was everywhere. He was doing interviews, laughing more, started telling his story. He started going on the campaign. Just doing whatever. Getting y'all back familiar with Rich Homie Quan. For those that don't know who he was. And that's exactly what he did.
Just gotta throw it out there. With you and Young Thug, will we see one song reunion maybe?
I don't know, bro.
If you had one thing to say to Slime, like as your boy, your brother, how y'all were locked in, what you'll tell him on the phone if y'all was
right now?
Yeah.
Shit, bro, let's just pull up on me, let's just chop it up. You feel me? Like before we even get to songs and
exactly.
I want to just see what bro mind mentally like, because like to this day we still ain't just had no conversation. It was more like people around us talking opposed to me and bro just sitting there having that conversation.
You and Thug was rocking for a while. That I don't know what happened there. We always wanted to hear the answer. Okay. Never got it.
Sometimes the best answer is no.
So would you say that during that time period you and Thug were really like close friends?
Nah, that was my dog. I wouldn't have met Bird if it weren't for Thug.
And so when did that fall apart?
We all got our own side. Just start falling apart. I feel like when we start going on, we start getting booked for shows and ego played a big role in it. Certain people felt like they should go last, or certain people wanted more money, and one of those. I ain't gonna say too much, but it started falling apart around.
And now shout out to my guy Loon, man. Now Quan responds to asking, do he miss Thug? He gave a real answer, and it's good to see that he did this right before he passed away, man. And it's almost like he was trying to tell his story, his real story, before his time was too late.
Yeah. Did you ever miss Thug while he was on that run without you? Slime went on a mean run.
Listen, a full one.
Yeah.
Miss him.
Miss is a mean word though.
Listen, miss is a strong word. I'd be lying to say, cause I was gonna try to put it a different way, but like I miss them vibes in the yo. Like, I can't lie and deny it. I'm like the vibe, like uncomparable.
It's good to hear you say that you missed them times in the yo, cause creatively y'all was smashing.
It was hard. It was hard. Like I can't put my finger on it, man. That shit was just, it was a time to be alive, bro.
Now, unfortunately, as we all know, Rich Homie Quan rise back to the top was shorter than two leprechauns. The past few months leading up to his death, Rich Homie Quan became the topic of discussion, but in a negative way. One of the first major pitfalls from Quan was an audio tape leak by which question was asked about Thug. And you hear in the audio, or what some would say, Quan was dry snitching on Thug, allegedly. But he was making claims that the whole Atlanta know that Thug had something to do with Donovan Nut Thomas being killed.
He wasn't saying Atlanta, he was scared me saying Atlanta, you know what I mean? Right. So my hand was on the spot. I saw him, we had a show together. I was like, so I'm just asking niggas yourself. Everybody been talking about it. I'm gonna just be a man and answer myself. Right. It's crazy, man. Niggas know Thug had something to do with it. We just can't prove it. Right. Point blank period. I ain't no rat, I ain't telling no. I'm just being real with y'all. Cause that's how much I love Nut, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit was real for her, bro.
So, why did you suspect Young Thug when you went to NYS? Because people told you, or did you have some beef with Young Thug at the time that kind of let you?
I ain't had no beef, bro. Hey, shit was deeper than rap, man. I really feel as if that was jealous of the relationship.
I shut. Oh.
Never been a word. You know what I'm saying? They were jealous of the relationship, man.
Because you guys seem to be getting along real well before that. I mean, I saw, how you guys were working together in the summer 2014.
To make matters worse, the prosecutor spoke with Quan, in which he wrote a statement saying him and Thug was cool up until Nut was killed. Then, of course, Lil Woody mentioned Quan during his testimony, by which he said and stated how he and Threat, which was his best friend, shut up Rich Homie Quan's dad barbershop. But it was a beef that had nothing to do with Thug. And you know, of course, well, if you didn't know, Rich Homie Quan was asked about that, and he responded.
Feel about his statements being said about him basically shooting up your dad's barbershop.
What is a liar? The barbershop did get shot up, but it wasn't like, I don't want to talk much into it, but it wasn't like he is over exaggerated it, because the same day the barbershop got shot up, it was up and running. So it couldn't have been like what he said it was. So we're gonna hold that down. Shout out to Woody. But niggas know.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Now, before the situation even got to that, prior to all of that, Rich Homie Quan recently was on live, going back and forth with this guy from North Carolina. I think he was a producer or something like that. And the guy online, you know, Rich Homie Quan always loved engaging with the fans. He'll go in the studio, record a verse, and come back out, go live, and engage with the fans. He always did that. He really engaged with his fans. That's the thing that he loved the most. Like, he don't drop music just because he don't know if his friends really rocking with him. And they just started to rock with him again last year. And some people was hating on that. And like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, some of y'all younger people don't know who Rich Homie Quan really is. Y'all really need to put some respect on his name. And I'm not saying that just because he passed away. If you can watch my previous videos, anytime I mention Rich Homie Quan, you can clearly hear me say a lot of that about Rich Homie Quan. Now, this guy didn't even have nothing to do with the altercation that Rich Homie Quan was addressing, but he got on the live because Rich Homie Quan accepted him on the live, and he got on the live and tried to bash Rich Homie Quan, saying he was washed up, you ain't really got no money, this and that. So, you know, Rich Homie Quan was trying to explain to him he independent. That's the difference between me and them, all of them, which he always was getting money. He was just was kind of blackballed after his tension. Well, we already explained that. Now, after that situation, that's when you get the situation about being asked about YSL in the case and Young Thug and Nut and all of that, by which he played the audio and made a statement. The prosecutor was going to use him as another witness other than Woody to try to prosecute Young Thug. And that's why people say this look kind of fishy. Because literally after 2 days later, after responding to Lil Woody about shooting up his dad's barbershop when he laughed it off, literally 2 days later, on September 5th, unfortunately, reports came out Rich Homie Quan had passed away. And the cause of his death was, of course, OD. Some may say that there's some little trickery involved with this because the timing is real suspect, and I agree. The timing is very, very suspect. I find it hard to believe that Thug had something to do with it, even though it would make sense if he did, because that was one of the star witnesses that can prove anything malicious about Young Thug that could help the prosecutors. Because Little Woody, they already tried my focus, and it ain't worked very well. He finessed them. But do he really got immunity like he think he do? Because at the end of this case, they might find out Thug really was innocent, and Woody acted out of his anger, mad because Thug wasn't showing him no more love and stuff like that. He capped and killed Donovan Nut Thomas and his brother. And his first idea, they want Young Thug. I'm already mad at Young Thug. Tell Young Thug did all of this. Because before I even finish breaking this down, I shared a video recently after Rich Homie Quan passed away. And you can see Young Thug body language because it was told to him in court during his trial that Rich Homie Quan passed away. And you can see his body language that it was very, very sincere. It almost looked like he wished they could have worked it out with each other and had that conversation like Rich Homie Quan always wanted before this happened. But then again, you got to know the prosecutors looking at him as well because they know that was one of their main star witnesses. And I think they know they about to lose this case. But y'all be the judge. Let's spin the block again. Alright, y'all, we back for good. We ain't spinning the block no more. Now, I truly think Young Thug really wish that didn't happen to Rich Homie Quan. I think we all wish that didn't happen to Rich Homie Quan. Because since we all knew him, he always had a positive personality. He was always respectful. Even the tension between him and Young Thug, he always kept it kosher. How that was always his brother. He wished him the best. It was only that one time that you saw him get drunk, by which Young Thug said he get drunk like that. So he forgive him. We can't never work with each other no more because you know I got a big heart, etc., etc. I truly believe Young Thug ain't had nothing to do with this. I truly believe he's innocent. I truly believe it's Lil Woody is the main target in this whole situation, and they try to use him just to pin Young Thug to win the case and some clout. And Fannie Willis in her feelings. But this ain't what that about. I just don't want y'all new gen or even my generation to forget what Rich Homie Quan was to the culture, to Atlanta, to the new modern day rap that we hear today. He's one of the pioneers. Not just Lil Wayne. Thug is as well. And Future. And now of course it's Drake. He was definitely one of them ones. And it was very good to see his short-lived rise back to the top. He was definitely on his way. The music and content he was dropping was very good. It was usual Rich Homie Quan. I just feel bad that he never really got a chance to be who he actually could be. Life is short-lived. Like a lot of our young black successors, our young rappers these days. Just because you got all that money and that lifestyle, no pun intended, doesn't mean you're dealing with demons. We all need somebody and a shoulder to lean on. Especially when Rich Homie Quan literally came out of his mouth and said he started coping with drugs heavy after all the situation that transpired with him and Young Thug, Nut, and Birdman. So I definitely understand it. I just wish he had people around him more that could guide him more. Because I don't care if you're 50 years old, you still can get guidance. That's a fact. We don't know it all. We're here living and learning how to live life off of love. That's the key. And I wish they could have found that for one another before all this transpired. Even before Young Thug got indicted for this YSL RICO case. I just wish we could have got a Rich Gang Part 2, Part 3, and so on. And from the looks of things, maybe he should have signed the Birdman. At least he still would have been alive. I think he would have. Because his career would have went totally different. But Rich Homie is still Rich Homie. Anybody that's out here after he passed away that's trying to put any kind of bad taste in your mouth or dirt on his name about him, pause. You need to look yourself in the mirror and reevaluate yourself, because that's very distasteful. He never really been in the airways of doing something bad to anybody. He was always a positive person. Not saying this just because he passed away. Just well as Takeoff. The same way. So people like that, we feel for them the most. We don't want anybody to pass away, but when it's people like that, we feel for them the most. Because they so relatable to us. They're close to where we from. Same cloth. Dealing with the same struggles and made a way out. And was trying to focus right. But of course, the past demons is so hard to deal with in your mental. Especially when you don't got nobody to lean on, no shoulder, no guidance. And then you get situations like this. And it's just sad to say, losing a lot of our black successors from death, alleged sexual assaults, and being locked up. It's just sad, man. ODing. And the majority of the time it's us going against each other is the reason why we passed away. Rich Homie Quan was short-lived, man. I mean, he was so good. He younger than me, but I was a fan of Rich Homie Quan. And I ain't normally really a fan of nobody that's younger than me. Because you can't be my idol. And I'm older than you. That just seemed weird. And if you was my idol, I'm doing something wrong. But I was a fan of Rich Homie Quan. And I still will be one. To the day I ain't here no more. Long live Rich Homie Quan. And hopefully, if he's innocent, free Young Thug till it's backwards. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how y'all feel for real. I mean, you know, this world really be showing me every day. And it should show y'all. Why I always tell y'all, love each other. Till next time, it's yours truly, Heartbreak. Long live Rich Homie Quan. Forever. In love and memory. Rich Homie, baby. Who is Rich Homie Quan?